zo. He bueno zo. Lo facante bueno zo. He bueno zo. He bueno zo. He bueno zo. He bueno zo. Lo facante bueno zo.
At Focus on Liberia, we discuss everything Liberia, from education to politics, arts and culture, entertainment, agriculture, history, religion, family, and technology. Focus on Liberia uncovers and showcases the best of Liberia and shows the world the truth about Liberia. We educate, elevate, and promote all things Liberia. We conduct interviews, panel discussions, debates, and more. Tune in to Focus on Liberia on Facebook and YouTube and be a part of the stories that make up the news.
This is Focus on Liberia, and I am Dennis Ja.
And I am Anthony Sier on this late night edition of the Hour of Politics. I want to say welcome to the broadcast. Let's get to it right away without wasting time. Facebook was trying to prevent us from getting this done. There was a little technical glitch there, so we had to end the first one and get it started again. All is good now, all is well now, and I want to take this time to say welcome. Do me that usual favor, hit that share button, and the topic is all yours for me to present or discuss, if you like. Folks, indeed, we have a nation called Liberia. Leadership has been one of our greatest problems. And that problem remains even more daunting today. But election is that period when the nation or the people of the nation Liberia make that decision whether or not they get another person to steer the affairs of the nation. So election coming and individuals have made it clear that they are coming and want to be president, the highest office in the land. One of such persons is Vice President Joseph Boakai. No question, he has been around. He is the longest political actor in our nation's history among those who have at least informed us that they have interest in the post of president for Liberia. And so today's presentation could not be so succinct. The topic for today, Vice President Joseph Boakai's act to arrest. Where is Liberia's rescue plan? Folks, since Joseph Boakai made it known that he will be a candidate in 2023, he has been talking. And one of the things that he has been saying from the get-go was AREST. He said, and his surrogates and apologists have also joined him to say arts is the way to go. Whatever arts means, we don't know yet, but that is what they have been saying. They have their own explanation. Arts, the A there for agriculture, the R for roads, the T for tourism, and of course the S for sanitation. They told us that plan actually, those words, that acronym was the silver bullet to all the developmental woes and leadership crisis that we have had in our country, and that is what they had, all right, for the nation Liberia. That thing called arts, came on a sharp criticism in no time. Liberians are saying, whoa, this nation's foundation is broken. The foundation of any nation should be education embedded with values. And the Boakai arts never had anything called education. I listed to you what those acronyms, that acronym actually actually stands for. That was, right? Agriculture. Rose. Boakai is the rose guy, right? Rose, 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 right? And then tourism and sanitation. Education was missing. And so after many months of criticism that you cannot in any shape and form be serious, that you're going to build a nation, that you're going to revolutionize this nation, that you're going to move this nation forward without educating Liberians who will carry on the development that we need. So maybe they have listened this time and said, well, we put away art. Now we are saying arrest. But before we go forward, let us hear from Mr. Boakai, who is the one running for president here. So Joseph Imam Boakai posted of recent, and we'll read that to you here quickly. And this post came on the 12th of October, that is this month. Arrest. A for agriculture, B roads, E education, S sanitation, T tourism. And he continues, and we are good for a renaissance in Liberia. This is a rescue mission. Let's do this together. We are ready. Team Liberia, love Liberia, and together build Liberia. That was Joseph Imam Boakai in his Facebook post to his nation, Liberia, and its people, talking about a renaissance. And that renaissance, that vehicle, that catalyst, that plan for that renaissance for the nation Liberia, the 5-letter words, arrest, AREST, arrest. He was coming, or he's coming to arrest all the situations that we are in and that we have gotten in. I don't know who got us in this situation. Many of you might know who all got us in this situation. But look, folks, let us get deeper into the conversation here, as my friend Leo will say. Boakai is talking about a renaissance. Do you even know what they call renaissance? Well, let me give you something here. I'm not good with history, folks. Renaissance actually is the period between the 14th century and the 17th century, when for the most part Italy and the most part of Europe, right, between the medieval period and the modern time, that period when Europe for the most part was leaving the primitive period into modernization. That is the period. That was when they were able to start making things like tools, forming, governments, providing leadership, making things simple. But, that is Renaissance. It changed the life of Europeans. The Renaissance period was the time they were able to depart from the period of primitives, from the primitive period to the era and going into modernization. So living conditions were significantly changed and improved to the point that they started using machines, they started eating better, they started growing their own food, and so on and so forth. And then the issue of arts and writing and all these things came into play. The whole Europe was revolutionized in the way that they changed from the primitive period to the era between the 14th and the 17th century. That was the era of Renaissance. A significant and complete departure from the ways of doing things to an improved way of doing things. That is Renaissance. It is a profound transition and departure from the past to the new era and new ways of doing things in every shape and form, education, and you name it. Look, folks, Boakai is talking about Renaissance. And that renaissance that he's talking about, the way to do it, according to him, is the acronym AREST. But let us do something here quickly for this presentation. I guarantee you that's going to be succinct. When you are running for president, you must be fit to be a leader. And so I know many of you, when we talk about fitness for office, people are talking about health. people are talking about physical agility or strength. That's not what it is. When we are talking about fitness for leadership, it is the leader well with thought, understanding, vision as to what they will do from day one to the period of time when they are to leave a legacy. That is what we call fitness. It is not about health and whatsoever. We have physical fitness. We have mental fitness. I'm talking about fitness in terms of leadership. The biggest question we must ask right now is Joseph Human Boakai fit for leadership? Is he a leader, in other words? How can we know that one is a leader? Is it because that person has been around the corridor of power? Or because that person has occupied one position here and there over a period of time? Or because that one has been given data to and data to? Fitness for presidential leadership goes far above that. When you want to be a leader of a country, you must have a unique and profound understanding of where you want to take the country from to where you want to see the country. That requires you of coming up with a plan that will do that. That plan must be researched or must be based on research. And you're not just telling us a plan. That plan should be backed by the how it will be done. That is why we call fitness in terms of leadership, especially national, if you like, presidential leadership. Because we in our country are told of this imperial presidency, which is profoundly true. That one who is president pretty much have influence on all of our branches of government. There are legislators elected by their own people who crawl on their belly and succumb to any and every request of the president. It is because of that imperial presidency. Even people at the judicial branch of government are appointed by the president. So how in any shape and form you can lecture me about equal branches of government, it makes absolute no sense whatsoever. But that debate is for another day. So the point I'm making is a leader, in our case in Liberia, who wants to be president, for the person to be deemed, in my understanding, to be fit for leadership, they should have a clear, concise, and profound understanding of where the country is. And not only that, that they know what plan will take that country from wherever it is, especially in our case, where our country is in the deepest hole of all. To get us out of that hole require a plan that is not only smart, that is measurable, that is robust, that is time-bound, that has the house in it, and that is also going to tell us where the money will come from to fund any such plan. That leader with that understanding is fit for leadership in Liberia. That is my definition of fitness when it comes to leadership for my nation, Liberia. For I know our people have suffered so long that they don't have any patience any longer to wait for any trial and error at this time in our nation's history, when we are profoundly 100 years behind, and maybe 50 or 60 years behind our friends. And we cannot afford at this time to elect anybody for president who is not fit in the true sense of fitness when it comes to leadership, who has no understanding of where we are and a plan that will take us from where we are to where we need to be, without any insight as to what legacy to leave behind. What we've had all along for the most part, are leaders who are completely chairwomen and don't have the fitness required for presidential leadership in our country. Having said that, let me address the topic for today. Joseph Boakai is running for president. That is what we are being told. How do we know that Mr. Boakai is running for president? When one is running for president, that person must tell us that they are running for president, not with their mouth. The way serial leaders announce to their people that they are running for president, they answer this question. All right? Why Joseph Human Boakai wants to be president? That is the question Boakai needs to answer. If he finds that answer, if he knows that answer, and if he answers this question with the required understanding and seriousness required, then we know Boakai is running for president. I don't want to run for anything by telling I'm running for this thing because I'm Anthony C. I've been around for so long. Look, folks, here's the deal. Why is Joseph Human Boakai running to be president? In other words, why Joseph Boakai wants to be president? Joseph Boakai needs to answer that question. Has he answered that question? How can he answer that question? What should be the answer to that question? The answer to that question will tell us that Joseph Human Boakai is truly and actually running to be president of the Republic of Liberia. So, folks, in order not to waste your time, Boakai should answer this question. Why he running for president with a plan? And I will contrast that. We are told Joseph Boakai is the Joe Biden of Liberia. When Joe Biden decided to run for president of the great United States of America, he was the last to declare, even though he was the most experienced of all those who have, aspired at that time to run for the presidency of the United States. He was the last. Now, that was a man who understood the gravity to run a country. So he was not rushing like other young folks who were anxious and emotional. Like I become emotional sometimes about this country. Joe Biden has been in government so long to know the seriousness required. He wanted to answer the question why Joe Biden is running for president. And so we come to our own Joe Biden, Joe Boakai of Liberia. Why is Uncle Joe running to be president of Liberia? In Joe Biden of America's case, he answered that question with the seriousness required. He answered that question with a detailed plan. When Joe came, he wrote out his plan, Build Back America, the Build Back Better plan. That is why he was able to enroll. And even before he could announce that, he pulled his team together. His team got to work. They debated their plans. They crafted their plans. Their plans were specific, very specific, about the issues that were dogging America at that time. And so the plans that they came our way were straightforward, were clear, were bold. And that is why those listening to me, since Joe Biden came to power, every proposal that he made, he talking about trillions, folks. Joe Biden is talking trillions. Joe Biden knew that America was at the critical juncture. COVID was raging. The economy was challenged. Inflation was on the rise. People were out of job. And so this man knew That is the fitness for office we are talking about here, folks. So he came with a plan that was bold enough, backed by the necessary funding in the house to fund the plan. And so Joe got to work. And so Joe's plan was clear. And you think America had a much bigger problem than Liberia? Folks listening to me, I will tell you no. The U.S. economy has been resilient for the most part, despite the up and down. Liberian economy has been in the toilet. Let me borrow that from our man Darius DeLong. And so for Joe Boakai, who has been around to know, who told us that President Joshua is a boy. You cannot give a man's job to a boy. And that the boy is causing so much harm and damage, not only to the fabric of our nation, but that this man is putting us in the reverse gear. And this is Uncle Joe coming and is not able to answer the question why he is running for president without a plan. And all he has for us as a dying nation, desirous of a serious leadership, is to tell us about AREST. Seriously? 5-letter words? This is it? This is the plan? And it is not written as we speak. It is nowhere to be seen. Nobody in Boakai's camp, I challenge them right now to even send us a draft of AREST. The so-called Boakai plan, this is not a plan. This is a slogan. This is an acronym. Maybe somebody just came up with that and they told Joe about it, that go and talk about it. And he is talking about it. So folks, forgive me the way I come at these issues. Folks, we are in trouble. If the issue of Zogo crisis does not scare you, these are the men and women who will be our leaders tomorrow. Where you think all Liberians are going to come from? Those of us in the diaspora, our children that we have in here, you think they're going to go to Liberia? They have no connection whatsoever as we speak. They're not going to go to Liberia. The ones that will lead that country are those ones we call Zogos today. And this is the plan. And this is how Uncle Joe answered the question why he is running for president with an AREST. So what saddens me is the fact that the AREST has not been written, is not drafted, and Joe Boakai has been talking about running for president for pretty close to 5 years now. Election is just next year. We are in October. Election is next year, October. 12 months to the time Joe Boakai has no plan, even though he has been running for this presidency for the past 5 years now. Does that tell you Joe Boakai is serious? Does that tell you Joe Boakai is fit? Does that tell you that Joe Boakai has answered the question why he is running for president? And let me remind you, the way any leader who is fit for leadership answer the question why he or she is running is with a plan that is robust, that is detailed, that is written, so that we can be able to hold that person accountable on any such plans. When Joe Biden of America decided to announce his presidency for the United States of America, he had a plan build back America. Build back better plan. And to this day, Americans hold Joe Biden accountable on his plan. So it's like these people do not even take us serious. You asking us that we should elect you to be president, and you are yet to answer the question why you are running for president with a plan. How are we going to hold you accountable? What kind of questions are we supposed to ask you? Why is it that we have not seen your plan? How you will lead this country? You made a Facebook post after I've been running for president for almost 5 years now. You don't have your so-called plan written as we speak. You have educated, smart people in your political party. You are yet to call them to order, to instruct them to do the necessary research and craft for you a plan that will answer the question why you are running for president. The main fact that you are yet to answer the question why you are running for president with a plan, it tells me you are not fit to run for president. For one to be fit for president, one must answer the question why you are running for president with a plan that will take Liberia from where we are to where we need to be. He has much asked. Any such plan is yet to be written. It is a demonstration of unseriousness and taking the Liberian people for a ride and taking us for granted. It is pathetic that a political party that claims to have the experience, and they do, I'd agree, and to have men and women profoundly educated, and they do, I'd agree. And so, how do you convince us now with your record of 12 years? How can you not come up with a plan? Today's Liberia is a completely different Liberia. Folks, this is sad for our country. So, if Boakai is actually fit and ready to run for president, he must answer the question why he wants to run with a plan. And that plan must include Unity Party's ideas and Joseph Boakai's ideas. Those ideas must be debated. Those ideas must be written. They must do research, and they must tell us the how. They must give us estimates of the amounts, how those things will be accomplished for our country. That is how you answer the question why Boakai is running for president. Can Unity Party get together and answer that question for us? Why they are putting Joseph Boakai forth? Unity Party is yet to tell us that answer. What they are telling us is Joseph Boakai have over 25 years experience in government, and yet there is no plan written anywhere from this experienced public servant. How am I supposed to believe that? When Joe Biden was running for president, the emphasis is necessary. He came with a plan that has a name. It was written. It was hooked up on the website. The links, the link to that particular website was shared with Americans across America. People read it. They have questions. Their questions have been answered. Joe Biden became president of the United States of America because he was able to answer the question, why are you running for president? And he did it with a plan. He didn't do it with an acronym, AREST, ART. So you left ART to arrest? So folks, let us talk about the Boakai's plan in detail here, folks. So the A for agriculture, where is that written plan? There is, you ask them now, they're not going to tell you the A in agriculture, the A in AREST is agriculture. Besides this word agriculture, that's it. It has not been written. I challenge them. They are not even writing it as we speak. It's not been drafted. That's how sad it is. This is how the people take our citizens and our country for a joke and for the ride, or because they've been in government, so we should just elect them. Joe Boakai said it clearly, folks. Let me put it back on the screen for you to see it. Here's the plan. A for agriculture, we are supposed to just take it. A for agriculture. Hey, agriculture will go. Roads, yay. E, education, yay. Sanitation, yay. Tourism, yay. Look, folks, let me put context around this thing here quickly. Let me tell you something. So they are telling us agriculture. This is Boakai's area, right? Boakai, they tell us agriculture is a strength. He was at APMC, he served as agriculture minister. Even in his own area of strengths and experience, we do not have a detailed rating, even bullet points of how this agriculture thing they're talking about, they're going to do it for our country. The last time the Unity Party was in power, they did not answer the question on agriculture renaissance that Boakai is telling us here. They didn't give us the renaissance in terms of agriculture. Of course not, they did not. And now they're telling us to the arrow for roads. And that's all. So the question I'm asking is, where is the written blueprint and the budget for the roads you're talking about? 2017, when Boakai was running, roads. He's still talking roads. Where is the plan for roads, folks? Well, let me tell you something. If Boakai were fit for leadership, and if he knew how to even answer the question why he's running for president, by this time, the Unity Party, under Joseph Boakai, will be able to tell us what kind of roads that they're going to build in Liberia, how much it's going to cost, why any such roads will be important, depending on where the roads are going to be built, what the fund is going to come from. They are yet to tell us, and I challenge them that they may not even be able to tell us. So let me give them free tutorial here, not tutorial, suggestion here. Please, Joseph Boakai more than likely can become president. Liberia is that country that anything is possible. So please do yourself this favor. Joseph Boakai has roles in his acronym AREST. So please do a research. What are the roads in Liberia that need to be built right now so that our country can get connected? Boakai is talking about renaissance, so that Liberia can experience a renaissance in terms of road connectivity. What are those roads? Is that the one from Sano to Grand Cru, to Grand Jida and Nimba? And why? And how much will it cost? How long it would take to build those roads? Can they go to work and do the research and tell how many kilometers or how many miles, how much it will cost, where they will get the money from? Do they have it in them? Can Boakai commission a team to do that research and come up with that plans and hook it on the website so that we Liberians can be sure that this man has the experience and he has the fitness to answer the question, why is he running for president? They will not tell us on agriculture. They will not even tell us on roads. When Boakai ran in 2017, the slogan was roads, roads, roads. And there was not a serious or any written plan anywhere as to the amount of roads he was going to build, the kind of roads, where, how much it's going to cost, how they were going to get the money. They didn't tell us. It was just that slogan. Roads, roads, roads. And it is the same thing they want to repeat at this point in time. With all the education they have, something I'm proud of, a good number of them for, and with all the experiences that they have, this is the best they can do. And they represent seriousness. They are joking, and they should stop this fun. For this fun will not take us anywhere. Let us make progress, folks. So, where is the blueprint for the roads? Where is it? Joseph Boakai, the last time he had an interview, he said, well, during my time, in 100 days, no cars will be stuck in a month. Maybe that is the explanation. Maybe that is the interpretation of roads. Look, folks, these people need to get serious. And at last, long last, what happened? All the sorry group, they start coming to a rescue, explaining it. And that is the thing. If you don't sit down among yourselves to debate, to brainstorm what you want to do, what your plans should be, why those plans are important, all right? How those plans will impact the country and its citizens. If you don't debate those things, anything that comes from your mouth, now your surrogate have to come rushing to clean it up. This is sad. These people must stop this behavior. If Joseph Boakai is running for president, he must answer the question why he's running for president with a written plan that we can read. Folks of us, those of us in the media, we want to read it. Liberians want to read it and ask questions to project that Boakai is serious for national leadership and he is actually fit as a leader. And now, arts had no education in it, as though they think they were serious. That country has no foundation right now. Many of the young people, zero educationally. And the first plan as it has no education in it, people criticize it, and now in AREST the poor education. Even at that, we don't have a written plan on Joseph Boakai's education. So where is Joseph Boakai educational plan? Is that the one they had 12 years ago? 12 years ago, when they attempted to even privatize our educational system? Yeah? When they almost like privatize a section of our education system, and young girls in the West Point era were infested with HIVs and AIDS, is that the one they are breaking again? When they were just throwing money at the problem? Is that why they're bringing again? If it is good enough, then show it to us. So, folks, we must also ask, why or how will the Joseph Boakai education plan for Liberia, now that they have added education, how will it be different from the one they had 12 years ago, from the one of Ellen Johnson Sirleaf? Because he always wants to run away from Ellen Johnson Sirleaf when it is bad, but when it is good, he wants to claim it. And Ellen was so eloquent. She's not like me, who struggle with the English language. All right. Ellen said our education system was a mess. So we cannot come back and use that plan Ellen had for education that was a complete mess. So how would the Boakai's plan be different from the Ellen's plan in her own words was a complete mess? Can Boakai give us that plan? That plan should answer the question why JMB is running for president. And when Joseph Boakai answers that particular question, why he's running for president, then I can believe that Boakai is fit to be president of Liberia. Fitness is not about physical look and all that. It's about your ability as a leader to come up with a plan that will take your people from a bad situation to a better situation. Let us make progress. Tourism. Unity Party want to lecture us on tourism. 12 years. Some of them will tell, well, we were just from the graveyard, nothing we could have done. We have the Ministry of the Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism. During the Ellen Johnson Sirleaf administration, when we have United Nations, when almost every prominent national leader across the world, right, went to Liberia, we did not raise a penny in tourism. 12 solid years they were in power. Nothing they changed, nowhere they improved in Liberia for tourism. Zero. The Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism was completely dead. Not a penny was raised under Ellen and Joseph Boakai. So when Boakai is telling us about tourism, what and where? That's what we want to know. Where is the how? Where is the how for tourism? We want to know the how for tourism in the Boakai's plan. You can't put a single T and you say tourism and that's it, and you say it's a renaissance. Boakai plan should tell us how we will experience a renaissance in terms of tourism in Liberia. And folks, when we speak here, there's Boakai, T, tourism. And he continued, and we are good for a while, a renaissance. So he said, after we put the agriculture into place, the roads, the education, the sanitation, and tourism, then we'll be ready for a renaissance in Liberia. So how will Boakai bring about renaissance in Liberia through agriculture? It has to be his plan. Where is that plan? It's nowhere. It's just that acronym. Boakai said we'll experience a renaissance in Liberia when it comes to road. Where is the plan, the written plan for roads in Liberia? Zero, nowhere, has not been written. Nothing. Education was a mess on the Unity Party and Joseph Boakai. Where is the plan? Joseph Boakai is here to answer that question. Is he fit for leadership in our country? Unity Party is filled with well-educated people. 5 years now, Uncle Joe has been running for president. We are yet to see a written plan. Now, let me contrast that. This is no promotion for Tiawan Gonglo and Alexander Benedict Cummings. Cummings too struggle for the longest, and at long last, they have a website where they have their little plans there. If I'm to give anybody credit here, I will give credit to Tiawan Gonglo. Tiawan Gonglo is just coming in the picture. But he has been struggling, but at the same time demonstrating some level of seriousness and trying to answer the question why Tiawan Gonglo is running for president. Tiawan Gonglo plan has a name, the 10-point plan. Just as Joe Biden answered the question why he was running for president, will Build Back Better plan for America. Tiawan is saying 10-point plan. He has a website. His plan is written and right there. You can go and read and ask questions. That plan of Tiawan Gonglo is subject to criticism. I'm not suggesting in any shape and form that plan answers all the questions. No, it does not. No. But at least the man has attempted to answer the question why he wants to be president of Liberia. He said, I want to be president of Liberia because I have a plan, a 10-point plan, a 10-point plan for Liberia. I believe when we do this, we will be able to take an inch in the right direction. Unlike Tiawan, who just coming in the race, who have not had more time in government like Uncle Joe, Tiawan has a plan at least. It's written. It's on a website for any and everybody to read and ask questions and hold him by his words, his written words. This man is not taking Liberia for a joke. He said, this is what I will do when you make me president. If I don't do it, you can ask me, you can hold me accountable. But for Joe Boakai, it's a Facebook post, it's an acronym, it has not been written. For the five years, they've been saying they want to arrest ATS, arrest, ATS, arts, and that is all they've been telling us. And they want me to take them serious. And they want us to take them serious as a people. Look, when you want to do it, do it. If you don't have it in you, just leave it alone. I mean, we know we are already struggling. We are literally dying in the hands of George Weah. George Weah came to the presidency without a plan. George Weah got elected before they started thinking about PAPD. When they finally rolled out that PAPD 7 months into his presidency, what happened? They departed from it. They are not going by their plan. The PAPD talk about taking about 1 million people out of poverty. But we all know in Liberia as we speak, George Weah is distributing poverty. The CDC is distributing poverty in the land. prices are in the roof. Transportation is hell. People are fighting for rights. Corruption is all over the place. He came with no plan, so we have chaos on our hands. And so even the so-called plan they came up with, just to save face, thinking that that would save them the shame they brought upon themselves, because they didn't even mean it. They just wanted to pretend that they came up with a plan at long last. What is Joshua doing now? Joshua goes somewhere and be a spoker. That we is now in the PAPD. Joshua go to West Point and say he's building a stadium. That we is not in the PAPD. Joshua paying wise school fees. That is not in the PAPD. Joshua is repackaging rest donated to Liberia and calling it Propo rest because it's not in the PAPD. Folks, I can go on and on and on. Joshua had no plan how to build roads in our country. They rushed. In no time, they said, whoa, Igbo man will be a coastal highway. It's dead upon arrival. They have no plan whatsoever. This is the same thing that we are seeing creeping upon us here. And you don't want me to analyze it, to bring it to you in a bold fashion so that you will wake up that anybody who wants to be president in our country should answer the question why they want to be president with a plan that is detailed and robust enough that will tell us where we are and taking us where we need to be. And the house with us, the house, an experienced man. So as far as I'm concerned, in my world, with my limitation and little understanding, but with a profound seriousness, I can tell you, Joe Boakai is not running for president because he's yet to answer the question why he's running for president with a plan. Joe Biden answered the question why he's running for president with a plan. Tiawan Gonglo plan is subject to criticism. He has answered the question why he's running for president with a 10-point plan. Cummings, too, of late, disappointingly of late, came up with his plan. All along, he's been, we can't be doing the same thing over and over and expect different results. We'll grow the budget. We'll raise the budget up to 1 billion. The how has now been rating anywhere whatsoever. My understanding, if someone told me, I know they have done it now. But what I'm telling you, the coming folks have finally, at long last, came up with their website where they have their little plans that they think and believe will move Liberia forward. I encourage all of you to look for the Tiawan Gonglo website and read the Cummings website and read why we patiently and painfully wait for the Joseph Yoman Boakai's plan. The one who is the most experienced of all will not be the Joe Biden of America, but again, disappointingly remain the Joe Boakai of Liberia. Oh yes, he remains the Joe Boakai of Liberia, who you know best. So folks, I'm sorry I don't have good news for you today. To be president of a country, one must be fit. So here's one thing I should tell you. The Joe Boakai so-called acronym that they call plan, AREST, what is the difference between the arts and the AREST is with E. And according to them, the E is for education. But this is what is missing. They didn't talk about the economy. The economy of a country is the blood, is the lifeline of a country. During the United Party administration, we have the likes of Anthony Said, a seasoned economist, a finance minister. Many Liberian professionals in the area of finance, they were at that Ministry of Finance. The high economists at the Central Bank of Liberia. So this was Unity Party doing its best to bring together competent people who have expertise and experience in the area of the economy. Folks, years later, the Unity Party under Joseph Boakai is coming up with an acronym instead of a plan, and it did not mention the economy of Liberia. In art, there is no mention of the economy of the country. Folks, if we don't have an economy, we should be the engine and the lifeline or the bloodline of the country. How will Uncle Joe and the Unity Party be able to carry on? There's their unwritten so-called plan called AREST. They're talking about agriculture when it's not written, roads when it's not written. So, folks, until Joe Boakai answers the question why he's running for president, the way it should be answered with a plan, he is not fit in the true sense of fitness, because fitness for presidential leadership is to answer the question why with a plan that is written and given to your citizens and your countrymen and women, that this is my plan. This is why I'm running for president. What we are seeing here is Joe Boakai say, I'm running for president. I have the experience. I've been in government for years. I work at PRC. I work at APMC. I work at agriculture. I was vice president before. And so, folks, is that why we're going to get? You have all these positions when you people came to power under the Ellen Johnson Sirleaf administration, and then you told us that you are squandering opportunities, and you want to come again and squander. He's even squandering the opportunity of answering the question why he wants to be president with a plan, and he's giving us an acronym on his Facebook post, and this is what they've been doing all along. And serious-minded Liberians, many of whom I've had respect for, are in the room, and they are yet to craft a plan for Joe Boakai. Unity Party. Unity Party. Liberia as a country has done well for you by giving you power for 12 years. The least you can do for us now, if you want to come back to power, tell us your plan. Show us your plan. Write it. Hook it up somewhere. Let us see it. And prove yourself worthy of the opportunity to serve our country again. Joe Boakai do the same thing. Folks in the Unity Party, is that something difficult to ask? Do you not have the education? Do you not have the experience? Do you not have the wherewithal to do that? Do you not? All we see are a few little platforms here and there that came together to talk about Joseph Boakai, how great he is, how long he been in government. Look, let me tell you, some experiences are bad for our country, and that is just the fact. Joe Boakai needs to tell us how his experiences are good for Liberia by putting them on paper. If the experiences are good enough, he should be able to tell us how good they are. And the way you do is to write them and show them to us. But hey, they are taking our people for granted. Say, oh, how many persons are going to go on website to read? Really? Really? Are you really serious? Do you really mean that? I mean, I heard that from one of Boakai's surrogates. What do we need website for? The people in the counties did not get time for website. That website going to win us election? Seriously? And then Joseph Boakai comes to America? I believe Joseph Boakai might want to see some investors who might have intention of going to Liberia. Folks, here's the thing. We have issue with electricity in Liberia. Power is a problem. In this world we find ourselves today, solar panel is the new game changer in terms of the provision of electricity that's all across the world. We have alternative sources of energy, wind, biofuel, solar panel, and all that, right? And the people who are educated continue to tell about this, something they call public-private partnership, where the government, which is the public sector, and a business, which is the private sector, will come together to provide a service for the benefit of the citizens in our country, so that the citizens are served, the business makes profit, the government generates taxes or revenue, right? So this is Joseph Boakai, and his plan does not include electricity or power. So if he comes to America, for example, and somebody who might be thinking, oh, I heard about this man running to be president in Liberia, I understand he's coming, I might want to go and meet him. In fact, where can I find his website? Does he have any rating plans anywhere? Folks, are you following here? No one serious investor will see Joseph Boakai's plan for Liberia. And that person will know that this man is not running for president. No. Because your plans must be seen. And then the person can say, well, I can have a conversation with this man. Because I see that in his plan here, he's talking about so many sources. When Obama was running for president, on the issue of energy, Obama had all of the above approach. Wind, solar, biofuel, drill, baby drill, you're going to drill oil, and then you talk about what's it called? Nuclear power, all of the sources. So businesses or companies, we were like, okay, we are in the manufacture of solar panel. They wanted to talk to Obama team. People who are drilling oil in the Gulf, they wanted to talk to the Obama team. And during Obama time, they started drilling oil. People in the area of wind, people in the area of biofuel, they wanted to talk to the Obama team. Folks, don't make the thing complicated. Why would any serious investor want to talk to Joseph Boakai right now? On what basis? On the basis of an acronym called AREST and AREST that is not written? How would the person see it? How would the person picture it? Oh, he will hear it from Boakai's mouth? He will hear it from maybe my Nigerian brother George Lobo's mouth? Because he is a good political salesman for Joseph Boakai, and that's it? The Western world wants to read your plan. They don't want to hear your words on social media. They don't have time to go listening to your speeches. They want to see your plan. Where is the Boakai's plan that answers the question why he's running for president? It is nowhere to be seen. What we have is an acronym. It's a slogan. Love Liberia, Think Liberia, and together build Liberia. How? How? The how is the plan. It is not written, folks. It means there is no seriousness being brought to the disco from the Unity Party and Team Boakai. They have time to do it. They will waste all the time and will start rushing like Joshua and his team that rush way after election. That is when they came up with the plan. Folks, I'm sorry, they don't have it. So the Boakai plan does not include the economy of our country, folks. It is not even written. They're not even thinking about it. They're taking our people for granted. Oh, Boakai is popular. All we have to do is let the old man show up. The old man has name recognition. And silent. Oh, Lord. I was listening to the Boakai's platform called Class Reloaded. I'm going to call the name Mianta Formula. Ente Mianta was on that platform. Oh, she disgusted me a whole lot. This is a respected personality in our nation. Her father, who served as a diplomat for Liberia, she got good education. Her father, as a diplomat, was willing to answer the question as to where Liberia stood at the time in terms of foreign policy. When Mianta Formula's father was serving as diplomat, he represented Liberia in so many countries. My understanding is that at some point she was with her father when the father was serving missions abroad. Mianta Formula now supports Joseph Boakai. She was on a Class Reloaded. And she said, and I quote, because George Weah said he did not say anything, he did not do anything Liberians elected him, she too does not want Joseph Boakai to say anything to Liberians. Folks, are you listening? Our problem is serious. Our problem is more so from those who are supporting these people running for president. They shield them. They prevent them from answering the questions Liberians have on their minds. This is pathetic. Mianta Formula said Joseph Boakai should not say anything to the Liberian people, just as Joshua did not say anything. And she was like, that my candidate, I'm going to vote for him anyway. He does not need to say it. I didn't even want him to come here to explain himself. Jesus of Nazareth. Joe Biden has been in government longer than Joe Boakai. Joe Biden was about 34, 35 years old when he got elected as senator for the state of Delaware, a position he served from a very young age to the day he and Barack Obama got elected as president and vice president of the United States of America, respectively. So Joe Biden has served over 30 years, if I'm not mistaken, I think over 25 years as senator of Delaware, and served as president for the United States for 8 years. Longer time of public service in government, more than Joe Boakai. Even at that, Joe Biden did not say that was enough experience. He humbled himself. He understood the gravity of the problem America was going through at that time. He understood that to answer the question, why you're running for president, you must answer it with a plan. And that is what Joe Biden did. Mianta Formula is educated enough to know that. And she sits on a class reloader and shamefully tell us that Joe Boakai does not have to say anything to Liberians. That was an insult to Liberians, that a man running to be the head of the nation should not tell the people why he wants to be president and should be made president. And that is a supporter of Joseph Boakai saying that to us. And they have the guts and the audacity to tell us that seditions are worse than any human beings in Liberia. And yet, she threads the very path seditions are on. They see no wrong in Joshua. Joshua should not sit with any media personnel to answer questions why he serves as president of our country. We are focused on Liberia, have done everything humanly possible for Joshua, who is serving us, to grant us an interview for him to tell us what is in his head and where he's taking this country. They refuse, as though they are about to do us a service or a favor. That is not a favor. You serving as president of our country, you do not want to answer serious questions? And that's the same behavior some of these politicians running for president they are doing. They are running away from media institutions that will ask them serious questions. Media institutions like ours that's on their back, we are very respectful, but we are tough and firm and asking you serious questions about a dying nation, replete with people who are traumatized because of a civil war that devastated that country. And these people are running for president. They don't want to be asked any serious question. We will not allow that on any circumstance. Doing so would mean we don't care about the country Liberia. And so, folks, I will conclude. And I will conclude. Where is the Boakai plan? What does AREST mean? Just as we didn't know what ATRS, what ATRS meant or art meant, except by they telling us agriculture, roads, tourism, and sanitation. It was never written. Today, it's not their plan. They came to AREST. AREST is also not written. They are running around here, say they see us to lead our country. They don't want us to ask this question. How are you running for president if you don't have a plan? You bring an acronym to your citizens, and you think that's how you respect your citizens? We need a plan. We demand plan from all of these people running for president, down to people who want to be senator and representative. We need plans from them. Their plans should tell us what impact those plans will make for our people in the short term and in the long term. Their plans should tell us how they will even find the money to get a job done. Their plan should not be like the plan of Mr. Cummings. I will grow the budget. And up to now, we have not seen anywhere a written explanation, steps, how the budget will be grown up to the 1 billion he's talking about. And this is where I come in. These people are not Liberia. You think that 1 billion, we're going to call it 1 billion? Let me tell you something. The CDC government has been in power for about 5 years now. In a 5 years period, the CDC government has been able to raise about 3 billion, United States dollars in terms of revenue. Where are we? We are zero when it comes to electricity. We are zero when it comes to road. We are zero when it comes to healthcare. We are zero when it comes to education. We are zero everywhere. Yet 3 billion has been spent. Bulk of that money going into the mouths of political bureaucrats through corruption. And now Mr. Cummings, who wants to be the agent of change, can bring petty cash here to us. When we're talking about nation building, 1 billion is petty cash. Mr. Cummings self in the corporate world, when he was at Coca-Cola, they were talking billions. You can't talk about a single billion. For every sector in Liberia, we need at least 10 billion to give us at least a renaissance that Boakai is talking about. Does he even have an idea of what the renaissance is? When the Euro experienced renaissance between the 14th and the 17th century, they came with plans. They worked harder. They were not just talking. The revolutionary living stand up during that period. They experienced renaissance based on plans. Some of these plans they continue to improve. And today, the European world and the Western world is far better than our continent of Africa. Because these people have plans from the one that they continue to build on and build on. We have significant ideas in Africa. We have not been able to build on them because our leaders are not planning. And now these people running for president, the most experienced, quote unquote, among them has no plan. 5 years passing around here and say running for president, no plan. And you do not want me to talk about that in a way I know best. And you think because I hate the man? This man has lived his life. This man is on government payroll. He has a pension because he is a former vice president. He gets paid every month. He's good. I'm talking about that Zogo who is in that ghetto as we speak on drugs. How do we take that Zogo out of that place? Does the Boakai plan talk about that? No. How do we educate that girl in Lofa County, in that village that has no school right now? Does the Boakai plan answer that? No. The last time the Unity Party came up with a plan in education, Ellen said it was a mess. How is the Boakai education plan different now? The economy of Liberia was experiencing free fall, one budget shortfall after the other during the Ellen Johnson Sirleaf administration. When Anthony Sayer put the economy together, Ellen let her go because she wanted to have a will. And so Boakai was right that it squandered all the opportunities, folks. Yes, they did. Folks, I have to leave it. My little limitation cannot solve Liberia's problem. Liberia has a lot of educated people. Our educated people need to do their best to serve us well. They need to be serious. Anything they do, they must do it with plans. They need to do it with plans. They really, really need to help us here. Because they did not help us enough. They were not intentional enough. I can make that argument. For which we have George we are today. If they were calculated enough, if they were strategic, if they were intentional, if they wanted to build this country, Liberia, they would have built the foundation through education. I believe sometime back they started. But along the way, they took their eyes off the ball. This unity got in the way. And then that nation, Liberia, went into chaos. We cannot get out of the chaos without a plan. If you don't plan, you plan to fail. Remember that. Folks, Boakai is here to answer that question. Our leaders need to answer that question. If anybody who needs to answer that question, it should be the elder in the room with all the experience. that we are told about. But yet, he is the one who has to answer the question. And I must say, Tiawan has answered that question. He has a plan, 10-point plan. Cummings too has tried to answer that question. Like Tiawan, he has a website with his plans on it. They didn't give us acronym. The most experienced man is giving an acronym. It speaks to his fitness and whether or not he's a visionary or whether or not he's prepared to lead. That is sad for our country. Boakai may well be president. I don't know who's going to be Liberia's next president. But if we look at numbers, Boakai may be. I'm not saying he's going to be. It's possible. It's not impossible. Don't count anybody out right now. Anything is possible. He may not also become president as well. But if you say you are in this thing, do it the way it needs to be done. Do it with the seriousness that is required. Do it with the understanding that the people you want to lead have questions. Answer their questions with a plan. That is what I'm here to say. That is what saddens me. I'm just hoping this will be a wake-up call. I'm just hoping our brothers and sisters in the Unity Party will not see me as a limited guy just yelling all over the place and try to prove a point. I just hope they will hear me out as a countryman here, as a brother, who like them want to see a better country, who like them is citing that, women are claiming wars just to get rice to eat. That many Liberians are counting lamp posts today in the 21st century. That our people are staying in darkness. That cars continue to get stuck in the mud because our leaders have not gotten it right. I just hope they will hear me out. I would just hope they will understand where I'm coming from. And they will not come checking behind me, who is he? For I don't have what they have. But there's something we have called Liberia. We must be honest about it. The deception must stop. Because you support Boakai, Boakai does not have a plan, you justify. Because you support Cummings, someone is criticizing Mr. Cummings to do the right thing, you come and attack the person. Citizens are doing the same thing today. Redemption Hospital that does not have drugs. Anybody goes to that hospital, if there's no electricity or doctor, no medicine, somebody would die. That person is a Liberian. No one goes to hospital and say, I'm a seditious. When Yakpakpa comes to town, when the hunger is in the town, they don't ask you, are you a seditious? And then that hunger will pass by you. It affects everybody. So I'm just hoping I will be heard out here loud and clear that we need to reflect soberly and deeply and challenge ourselves and demand from ourselves our better selves, for we can do it. I know smart Liberians across the world who are doing exceedingly well in their areas of expertise. We need a leader who will bring the Liberians together to serve us well. I want to be proud of my country, but it's hard right now. Do I fly the flag and weep in the middle of the night? How many of you can answer all the calls for help? None of you. I don't want to make you sad, for I don't let self-pity. I don't like that. It's a sign of weakness for me. I just demand the truth. I just demand seriousness. I just demand boldness. I demand plans. plans will get us there. Sycophancy will not get us there. All our leaders are just going like this in a cycle. Like wherever the wind blows, they're where they go. Today they for war crime code, tomorrow they're not for it. All of them want to be friends with the warlords because that's how they get elected. But I have to go. I really have to go. And I want to say thank you for watching this late night edition of the Hour of Politics. Because of time, we will not take calls. We apologize. We will not read comments. But I will take my time tonight before I go to bed to read all the comments so that I can hear from you and learn from you as well. So that I can look at your critique and correct myself. Liberia is in trouble. Our leaders need to know that. And they should answer and respond to that trouble we're in with their plans. That is what we want. That's the way to start. So, folks, the song that takes us home has always been, we are all Liberians. Before you leave, my fellow countrymen and women, I will encourage you to listen to that song for at least 1 minute. That song is profound. That song will engender in you and make you to feel what I feel, for which I talk the way I talk. And I know a good number of you feel the same way and can even do more than me. I just happen to have this opportunity of being here for us to reason together. The song, we are all Liberians, is taking us home. Until I see you again. The name is Anthony Sie, Mran Sie, Blood Sie, a son of Sastan. Enjoy the song. We are indeed all Liberians, and we deserve better. Thank you for watching, and have a good night.